YouTube has recently blocked several of my videos for quote-unquote hate speech. It's a bullshit term, it's meaningless. Here's the wording they've used. We know this may be disappointing, but it's important to us that YouTube is a safe place for all. If content breaks our rules, we remove it. If you think we've made a mistake, you can appeal, then we'll take another look. Keep reading for more details. How your content violates our policy. Safe place. This demonstrates how the extreme left has ideas that we know are scientifically wrong, extremist, incorrect, proven to be false, hate-filled ideas. The left is based on hatred of whites and hatred of men. Now, this language, safe place. There's a great book by Jonathan Haidt called The Coddling of the American Mind. He talks about this. You've redefined a word there. Safety is about physical safety. But you should be anti-fragile, as Nicholas Taleb, a phrase called by Nicholas Taleb, which is we need to expose people to ideas they may disagree with. But the left has defined this as if you expose people to ideas that make them a little bit uncomfortable, that's unsafe. Well, no, it's not. Unsafe is walking around a building site without a hard hat on, where health and safety has been ignored, and then a pile of bricks falling on you. That's unsafe. Downtown Caracas at the moment is unsafe because of socialism. YouTube isn't unsafe. If there are ideas on YouTube that you find uncomfortable, that's not unsafe. That's good for you. It's good for you to be exposed to a range of ideas, because it toughens you up and it makes you question your own ideas. And it would either make you change your idea, or at least it will improve and strengthen your views and make them more nuanced. To call ideas they don't like unsafe, it is a violation of the English language. That's the wrong word. It's not unsafe. But here we can say, laid bare in these emails saying this content has been removed, it exposes the extremism at YouTube. YouTube hates free speech, it hates democracy, it hates freedom, it hates the West. It has been taken over by extremists. What should YouTube do? YouTube should allow any legal content. Then it should trust people to consume that content and make up their own mind. If my content is, which it isn't, if it's hateful, if it's not based on fact, if I'm making bad arguments, so what? Allow the content on the platform, allow other people to critique it, and then trust the public to make an informed decision. You can't make an informed decision if you're just getting one side of the argument constantly. And that's what's happening with big tech everywhere. You're just hearing extreme left-wing arguments. Almost entirely, it's right-wing or centrist arguments or contrarian arguments, or arguments against the orthodoxy. And the orthodoxy is now extreme left-wing. Those arguments are being shut down. So you're only exposing people to one side of the conversation. Now, does Silicon Valley realise how extreme they are? Do they realise that they are extremists? Some may do, the activists there may do. Some people may just think they're the good guys and it's normal. What they're doing is normal. Shutting down or removing an episode called Men Are Stronger Than Women Hollywood. And all I discussed in that was the scientifically proven relative strength between men and women and how that's portrayed in movies. Old facts. That's been removed. So somebody... There's a charitable interpretation of this, which is they removed it because it's sexist, and I'm sexist, and I shouldn't be sexist because stereotypes. What does that mean? It means it's not questioning the truth of the statement. So that's YouTube saying some things are true, but you're not allowed to say them, even though they're objectively true, because the public can't be trusted with this forbidden knowledge. That's what YouTube's saying. That's ridiculous. To not trust people with objective truth. If there's one standard for free speech or just speech at all that we should have, it's that we should be able to say things that are true. And I think this is the crux of the matter. This is why the intellectual dark web is required, because there's so many things that are objectively true that we're not allowed to say now around all of these issues. And men being stronger than women almost universally is objectively, scientifically proven fact for all sorts of reasons. Testosterone, bone density, etc. To say something is unsafe because they're saying things that are objectively true that you don't like, the brainwashing of the population is complete at that point. You're stopping people hearing things that are true because they go against your ideology. What does that mean? And you don't trust the public with this information. What does that mean? It means you live in an Orwellian society already, where one company or a handful of companies are controlling what people are allowed to think, and they're not even skewing towards truth. They're skewing towards their set of ideals. They're skewing towards social engineering. They're trying to change society in a way to somewhere it isn't now, to something that's objectively, scientifically wrong. The only truth we really know is maths and really science based on the scientific method. That's the closest we can objectively get to truth, really. And YouTube has rejected this entirely. YouTube has said no. Scientific method, science. This we reject that. We trust this ideology, this faith called intersectionality, left wing, far left politics. We trust that more than we trust the scientific method. Surely there must be a lot of people at Google and YouTube that can see the problem here. That's clearly the wrong path. And it doesn't matter what your ideology is, to trust anything over science, observable proof, it's clearly the wrong path. Google and YouTube are on this path now, so it's most of big tech. The far left has invented a term, hate speech, completely meaningless term. Hate speech is free speech. Some parts of the whole point of free speech is exposing you to ideas you may not like. That's the whole point of it. Because that's how your mind may be changed, and that's how you may change other people's minds. But when one side of this is constantly being shut down in favour of a specific ideology, whatever that ideology is, we're living in 1984. What YouTube is doing here, what big tech is doing here, what Google's doing here is evil. They're doing something evil. They by censorship, they're enforcing an ideology on people. An ideology, even if it did seem universally good, which it probably does to some people at YouTube, you're still doing the wrong thing. Because firstly, you might be wrong. You may think you're following a good ideology that's incorrect. Secondly, you're rejecting science. Scientifically, virtually all men are stronger than all women. This is just scientific facts. Once you start rejecting science, then we are just living in a censored Orwellian nightmare. And we're completely at the mercy of whichever censors at YouTube feel like doing whatever they're doing, pushing whatever ideology they're pushing, which is an extremist left-wing ideology. And using these redefined words like safe place. No. Well, YouTube is safe. It's a fucking website and an app. It's safe. There's nothing unsafe about that. Number one. Number two, if we're talking about mental safety or the safety of your ideas, then it should be unsafe. It's a video content place. You should be challenged. You should be able to challenge people there. Number three, and that this isn't just me saying, oh, you should allow someone to go on a racist, sexist rant, not saying anything. Maybe you should, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm having an intelligent discussion here. And they've blocked that. Their standard for blocking, their bar for blocking things is incredibly low. I mean, that's before we even talk about monetization. I mean, you can't monetize anything remotely controversial that's not prescribed left-wing speech. This is bad ideas layered on top of bad ideas. Again, there must be a lot of people at YouTube who agree with what I'm saying. There must be, because clearly you should be guided by objective reality, science, data, facts, not ideology. Just as a rule, as an instinct, those are clearly the things you should be guided by, because then your biases come out of it, and it doesn't matter if you're, or matters far less if you are biased, and most people are on some level. It doesn't matter if you're biased if you're guided by objective facts. Objective facts is all we have. So if you've seen clear science saying that almost all men are stronger than almost all women, yet we have action films where skinny women are beating up men, these are objective facts, and you're blocking this, it's a sign that you're working from the wrong operating system. It's a sign that you need to reevaluate what you block and why you block it. It's a sign that you should fall back to science. It's a sign that you should err on the side of free speech. These are all huge alarms going off in relation to YouTube now. So YouTube is clearly doing the wrong thing here, and it needs a course correction. But when you're a monopoly, the market doesn't really help us very much here. These are very bad, worrying signs for freedom in the world. This is censorship. This is reasonable discussion being shut down, and this can't go on.
The Deviant Developer Podcast. Tap subscribe in any podcast app to never miss an episode. Please leave a review on iTunes and like on YouTube. It's essential to spread the word. To contact me or make a welcome donation, go to thedeviantdeveloper.com. Your support is greatly appreciated. The Deviant Developer Podcast. Tap subscribe in any podcast app to never miss an episode. Please leave a review on iTunes and like on YouTube. It's essential to spread the word. To contact me or make a welcome donation, go to thedeviantdeveloper.com. Your support is greatly appreciated.